Double whammy today. We got two jobs on the same street, so I'm going to take you guys through it in Camino as we speak, not too far from it. Now, I've been in this community quite a bit before, so one thing I want to take you guys through is thermoply, the dreaded thermoply. Everybody loves to hate on thermoply, but I want to take you guys through thermoply, its use, its installation, all that fun stuff, everything you never wanted to know about thermoply. And, well, cellulose fiber sheathing is the technical name for it. It's kind of like sheetrock, you know? Everybody knows it by the brand, thermoply. But Dryline, TSX, Barricade, there's a bunch of them. I'm going to take you through it today. Oh, light's green. All right, we are not far. Woo! Look at all this new construction coming up. All right. Let's take a look. Somewhere down here. Boy, these guys are working, man. Working hard.
600 feet, your destination will be on the left.
All right, so made it out here on the job site. Looking at it. Different brand of thermoply. I suppose that's the same as saying, what kind of Coke do you like? Oh, I like Sprite. But Barricade thermo brace. See this quite often. This is the blue. Now, one thing to remember is that, and very important, is this right here. Now, this, the green, the red, the blue, that's especially for Florida, but this is your certification that says that this stuff is okay to be used as a building material and is code compliant. Now, I would love to show you guys a little bit more about this.
This is the evaluation report for this product, Thermobras Blue. It has been approved by several codes including the IRC. Thermobras meets various standards including ASTM and ANSI. In fact, it has been rated as an alternative to plywood or OSB sheathing and is no scheisse.
Now here's the thing. You don't even have to have sheathing. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have to have sheathing on your walls to make it code compliant. You can use let-in bracing or any other bracing method on these sticks at the exterior walls, and that is good enough for your house. Now, of course, it has to be, that's only for the structural portion. It still has to have the weather-resistant barrier. So in the old days, when I say the old days, I mean like the 60s, 70s, that's what they would do, and they would just wrap tar paper over it. And that is still an acceptable way to do it. So, you know, this cellulose fiberboard sheathing stuff is really a step up from the way that it used to be done. Now, if you want a little bit more strength, yeah, you can go with OSB, I suppose, with a tighter nailing schedule. You can go with, hell, sheets of steel. You know, there's 1,000 other things that you can use. The code has something like, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 different options for your structural wall. But this is probably the most cost-effective way to do both the strength and the weather-resistant barrier. When I say this, I don't mean specifically Barricade brand, but the cellulose sheathing. So, like I said, the important thing though is to make sure that it's done right. And this is where you always see the problem, is that it's always done wrong. So I'm going to show you a few things. I hadn't even started inspecting yet, but I'm going to show you a few things that I'm going to find wrong here. Now I know that I told you I was going to take a look around and then show you guys all of the fun stuff they did wrong, which they normally do. In this case, they actually did a pretty decent job putting this cellulose fiberboard sheathing up. I see that they did miss a few. They did miss a few fasteners right up here. So you can see now over here it says blah 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 3:3. 3:3. That is 3 inches on the edge, 3 inches in the field. So you got some overspace fasteners here. That's not too bad, honestly. That ain't too bad at all. But if we jump back over this direction, you can see that they've got a few that are a little bit overdriven. Most of these look really good. Like, look at that. Those are just better than ideal because those are tighter than the 3 inches. Here you've got some overdriven fasteners. See, when your staple is breaking that weather-resistant barrier, that's overdriven. That's super duper overdriven. Look at that. Ba-pow, ba-pow, pow, ba-pow, pow, pow. Any water that might happen to get behind here is going to get into that, well, I hate to say cardboard, but that's what it is. So this blue stuff, generally speaking, if it's green, it's lean. If it's red, it's not green. Blue's a little bit stronger. There's also a black, maybe not for the barricade, but for the thermoply, there's a black. I think maybe Dryline TSX has a black too. I don't know. But anyway, these are all different sizes. So let me show you a few of the things I found out here. It's all pretty basic stuff. Somebody punched a hole here, probably for a wire, for an outlet or something, and then didn't run it through. So that's damaged. That needs to be taped up. This needs to be taped. This masonry flashing, torn. They did that in a couple different places around here. Torn. You've got this tape here is peeling back. It was supposed to be taped from the bottom up, not the top down. So this shouldn't overlap like this. You don't want water running back behind there. If you guys have seen my videos, you've seen me talk about this stuff a whole heck of a lot because it is super common, super duper common. One thing I'm seeing here, speaking of water getting in, you've got this wrap. This needs to be taped up because you can't have that overlap. Speaking of tape, all these windows have to be taped. Head flashing, side flashing. They haven't done any tape on the windows. Speaking of tape, they used the wrong tape. Let's see if I can zoom in here. What kind of tape is that? That is DuPont. DuPont tape on some other brand of material. Barricade don't like that. Let's go inside. All right, so we're gonna start inside here at the steps. Steps are always fun, man, because they're almost always done wrong. You can't have more than 3/8 of an inch difference between the bottom step and the top step. And here, you've got right at 7 inches. Here you got 7.5 inches. And then all the way up here, you've got 9 inches of step to deal with. So, that's wrong. Now, something that I like is that here in the laundry, and I don't often see this when they do a second story laundry, but they've put in a floor drain. Usually what they'll do is have a pipe coming out of the wall. It's a whole big mess. You got to try to line up your pan with it. Here, what I believe they're going to do is just tile this. They've got the floor drain. That's going to be the lowest point. That's really the best way to do it. Because anytime you've got something like laundry, God forbid, upstairs, you've got another point of potential failure with plumbing. And anybody who's ever had to deal with a laundry leak knows that, man, when that happens, you want to make sure that it's taken care of fast. Being upstairs can be kind of a mess. So that helps to mitigate that. Speaking of the laundry upstairs, you've got this smashed back behind the blocking here. So that reduces the diameter of your dryer vent. Oops. There's a couple things I wanted to show you. They've got this bracing the corner of the, I didn't even want to show you this, but it just happens to be here. It says, what does that say? Do not remove. Just a little jump or crawl. I'm a little bit too short for this. So, one thing I wanted to show you, man. This is a plumbing issue. For all y'all plumbers, y'all can probably guess what it is already. Insufficient distance between your toilet and your tub here.
you got to have 15 inches to the middle point. And here you got right at, well, not quite 15, just right about 14. Oh, crap. That didn't, I promise that didn't scratch. Here you got a little bit more. I think the issue is actually not that they didn't measure right, but they got this big ass gap right here on the back side of the tub. So something like I measured it actually from the edge of the tub to the wall is about a ½ inch difference between here and over here. So can any of you brilliant luminaries tell me why we've got this blocking in the eaves, fire foamed and tight, with our attic vent not in the soffit but up here on the side? Well, it's because of the WUI code, the Wildland Urban Interface Code, because of our location so close to a wild area. As you can see, all these houses are going up. Ain't gonna be wild too much longer. This is to help with slow down any kind of potential, or stop any kind of potential flame that might, from burning embers or whatnot, that could get sucked up into a soffit vent, especially with houses built as close as they are. Oh, what else? Oh man, look at this. Look at this lead-in bracing. Got to be between 45 and 60. I think this is like 63 or something. So it's just outside of spec. Coming into the primary bathroom here, they just came in here and did their fiberglass work. And look at this giant tub they're going to put in here, man. This is absolutely massive. Probably fit 5 or 6 bodies in there. It's huge. Great looking bathroom. You've got this this wall here is obviously carrying some load. You've got joists that are terminating on top of it. And you've got this big cutout right here, that notch right there. Can't notch more than 25% on a load-bearing wall, ladies and gentlemen, but I know you knew that. Let me show you something else on these stairs. We're gonna go underneath the backside here. Underneath, let me show you these stair stringers. Man, I see him do this, and I think, my God, what have you done? Look at these overcuts. They came in with the circular saw and just chop, chop, instead of drilling a hole here and cutting to it. And you can't have more than 5, you can't have less than 5 inches between your cut and the edge here. And sure enough, all these overcuts, that's exactly what they do. So, I mean, look at that. Look at that. You can see light straight through there, man. And so at the very least, I mean, obviously they're not going to replace this stringer. Add some supplemental support here like they've done with these other stair stringers. You've got a strong back on this side, over here on this side too. They can add one here in the middle at least. That would help. Get on site, and of course the plans aren't here. They never are. And I see that, all right, so they're using lead-in bracing for shear wall support. And they're supplementing the anchorage with extra shot pins. So I'll come over here to the other side of the garage. Beep, 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 beep. More shot pins. So this is a shear wall, right? Well, man, I do not see the lead-in bracing. So I went ahead and put this on the report because if this is indeed a shear wall, they need to go ahead and put that bracing in there. And then I come over here and I see DBLWH. I see 2 CPVC lines coming over here. I see 2 loops. So, double water heater. Well, you've only got 1 platform. Where's your other platform? You only got 1 vent. You don't have another vent. So I don't know what's going on here. Either they're gonna put it in or they're not, but I went in and called it out because who knows. It'd be nice to get the second one. Man, can y'all hear my voice going? I had a little cough. Not even that bad of a cough yesterday, man. Now my voice is like, bleh. I love to see trusses. I really do like trusses. I prefer trusses over I-joists. I-joists are great too. But one thing I saw is that they are missing a gusset plate right there. You see that? That's a gusset plate. Just like that one, that's missing. That one's there. Well, that one's not. That one's there. That one's not. So you don't see any holes there, so it tells me that that came from the factory with the gusset plate missing. Yikes. Something else. Take a good look. Here's your island, your kitchen island. Look at all those outlets that are not there. That's right. You've got some underneath the sink, but for the countertop, you have none. And that's because of the new NEC, the new National Electric Code states that, man, it's just too dangerous to have outlets at an island. Well, sorry, let me repeat that. Let me say that again. It's too dangerous to have outlets underneath the countertop. So you got a crock pot up here full of beans, and you got it plugged into the side. Your kid comes running along, playing, sword fighting with his little brother, and he hooks that cord and spills that crock pot all over him, his little brother, whoever else. You got a huge mess. So the idea is to help try to prevent those cords from going over and under around and under the countertop. So now, if you are gonna have power, you gotta have the pop-up ones that just pop up from the countertop, or maybe you've got a little inset with a bar on this side. You can put them in there, as long as those cords aren't hanging over any kind of countertop space. That's the new rule, ladies and gentlemen. This house overall was in pretty good shape, man. Issues with the outside, taping and all that stuff, but that's easy enough to fix. Wasn't too bad. So let's go check out next door, because that's the next one that I'm doing. So what they've done here, post tension cables, these are your pockets made by your pocket formers. They've come in here with just about the worst grout patch ever. I mean, it's totally useless. These are supposed to be capped. Honestly, I don't even think this was grout. I think this is just dirt. I literally think this is, I think this is literally dirt. This is just mud from the ground here. This is supposed to be concrete grout. Look at this, the wedge is even coming out. Son of a bitch. Oh my God, look at that. Holy shit. Damn. This is fucked. Pardon my language, man. I've just never seen it quite this bad. Oh my God. This is, wow, this is a first. Dirt, they just put dirt in here. Wow. This is a good builder. This is a damn good builder too. I've done a bunch of their houses. I've always thought they've been some of the better ones. Just to goes to show you, it's not who the builder is, it's who they contract. Which I suppose, yeah, it's all falls on the builder's shoulders. But in the end, it depends on what kind of yokels are hiring from underneath the bridge, or down at the Home Depot, or whoever they're getting them to be able to come do this. What I mean is that it's generally unqualified, or not fully qualified, maybe. Look at this SDHD strap. So here is your, I don't know if you can read that, but here's where you're supposed to, and that's the embedment line. You can have up to 4 inches on these, and it's okay, but you've got this spalling. It's coming out even deeper than that. We're gonna call this out, man. For sure. Wow. Going back to the other place, because it's something that I missed. All right, here's a good one that I'd never see. In fact, I almost missed it. Now, we've got 2x6s on 24-inch centers, right? Awesome, beautiful, love it. We've got 2x4s also on 24-inch centers. That's cool, we can do that. No big deal, non-load bearing walls, right? Well, that's fine until we get to where they actually are load bearing walls. So you can see that these trusses end on this 2x4 wall, which is on this huge 24-inch center. Same thing over here. In fact, this is a shear wall, poorly done shear wall. But this is on 24-inch centers as well. And being a shear wall, this is considered load bearing, even if it's not directly holding up the upper story. You got the same thing over here with this shear wall. And point is, when you've got interior 2x4s on 24-inch studs, the only thing that they can hold up is a roof. That's it. You can't hold up a living space like that room up there. You got to be on 16s or 2x6s. You know what's funny? I realized that when I was actually over at this second place. Man, like I said, I never see 2x4s on 24s. It's just something they never do here, but they did it here. So I was like, wait a second, I had to actually look up the code to remind me. But where you've got just an attic space, this is fine. But you come over here where you've got trusses holding up your second story, you got to put some more studs in, baby, because this is just too far apart. Same thing over here. Come on, gimbal, fix it. Same thing over here, man. You got to put a few extra studs in this. So that was a good one. In fact, I found some other good ones on this house. Let me show you what else. Over here, you've got your service entrance wires coming in. This is your ground down to your grounding rod. But this little grounding wire over here all by itself is your slab ground, and it's not connected to diddly squat. This has to come over and connect to that. Oh my God, losing my voice. I sound like I've been smoking steel wool. This bathroom space directly above, you can see, all right, they've got these joists properly hung. Like to see that. This one, not hung, but you know what? It's okay because you're on the studs. Problem is they didn't nail it to the studs. They left it bearing on here. There's a damn gap there anyway. But they need to put some fasteners in here to this stud, and that'd be okay. The other thing, of course, you can see this big hole. You got to leave at least 2 inches above and below if you're going to put a big bore in it. You can't bore more than 1/3 the width, I believe. I have to double check that. But I know that that's too damn big, and it's too damn low, and it's too damn bad because they're going to have to fix that. They could have done it right the first time. All right, going up the stairs. Oh, come on, stupid gimbal. Flip around here. I found a couple of good things up here. Let me show you. The HVAC, man, look at what they did to this duct work. They didn't even try to fix it. They sort of tried to fix it, but my God, man, that's awful. So what's going to happen? All right, what? Oh, this is wet too. I didn't even touch it. Oh, this is soaking wet. Maybe that's why they opened it up to dry it out. Oof, 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 oof. Oh, that is, look at that. Oh my God, man. Look at that. Holy smokes, man. Okay, I'm going to amend my report because I saw it. I took a picture of it. I didn't come up and grab it. I guess I should have. I'll do that in the future. This whole duct is going to be soaking wet, man. You are never going to get the water out of that. Oh, that needs to be replaced. That's a good find. One other thing I want to show you, I'm going to go up the ladder here in a second, but I want you to take note of this drain line. Coming up here, this is your vent. It's coming up, venting this away. And let's follow it up, see where it goes. Huh. Well, it don't go very far, does it? My God. Now here in zone 2A, which is hot, humid, believe it or not, if you want to call Austin humid, I guess it is. Supposed to have minimum of R49. So that's right about 16 inches or so. Between 16 and 17 inches. I always see them use the exception, which is R13. Now the exception is fine. You can do that if you satisfy the requirement, which is that you can put a full R38 over this wall and none of these gaps over the wall, over the entire top plate is 13 inches. This is like 9 inches. So I went in and put that in the report like, hey, yo, y'all got to make sure that y'all put enough insulation in the full 16 and a half, 17 inches because you don't meet the exception. So when I come back in a few months, we're going to take a look and see what they did. Now, overall, neither of these houses are all that bad. you know, both of them have some things that definitely need to be addressed. And luckily, in the pre-drywall stage, a lot of that stuff can be addressed fairly easily. The important thing is that the builder, who actually, and I give credit to the builder, they were very keen on having the inspector come out today. So happy for that. The important thing is that the builder gets these things fixed. So I'm not always worried about how much stuff I'm finding. It's how much stuff doesn't get repaired. That's the thing, man. So I'm going to do this report, knock it out tonight, 2 of them tonight. I've been here all day, man. I got here at 9. It's, I don't know, 4:30 or maybe almost 5 right now. I spent a lot of time on these jobs, a lot of time. I want to make sure, man, that I'm getting as much stuff as I possibly can. So I'm going to get these reports out. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Have the builders let me know. Everybody ask me questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks.